This is a quick video on my home small solar collection system. It's small, expandable, inexpensive to start, but the basic information that I think a lot of people are looking for, how to do it, where to start. So here goes. I was wanting a small solar backup battery system that could run a refrigerator. Here in North Idaho, we have power outages every once in a while. They don't last a long time, but I wanted something that could take on a small refrigerator. When I say small refrigerator, I'm talking a refrigerator like that. You see the freezer next to it. It's a pretty good size stand-up freezer, and here's a small refrigerator that can keep things cold for a short period of time, and my goal is to move from the refrigerator and expand my system to be able to run the big stand-up deep freeze. What I've got right now is basically a 24-volt system. It's two 12-volt solar panels wired in series. I've taken it to the solar charge controller here. The solar panels are mounted on the roof. I bought this solar charger. I think it's about $30. Wired it in. The solar panels are on the roof, come down. They go through a 20 amp breaker. This is a 20 amp charger, so I got this one, and I thought that was pretty proper. I've basically done my Google research on how to set these things up, and basically this right now, you can see it's dark outside, so it's not producing anything, but that's what I've got on my charge on my batteries. And so I go down here. This is a 12 gauge wire coming down, and then I ran my chargers into these blocks here. Let me back up a little bit. I then went and I got from Batteries Plus these 4 6-volt golf cart batteries. They're 235 amp hour 6-volt wired in a series. So that gives me 235 amp hours, 24 volts. And those solar panels are charging them. So that gives me a run time on that refrigerator, probably about 4 hours continuously. We know refrigerators turn on and off probably every 15 minutes. So it'll give me a pretty good run time. You don't want to run these batteries down below 75%. So you've got to do your calculations on that to figure all that out. If you Google solar calculations, it will give you every type of calculator, standard wattage for home equipment. It's really good. You can Google it and find out. I just don't want to get this video too busy with that kind of stuff. So those are wired into these terminal blocks here, and then those solar panels are wired in there, and then I go into this 2500 watt pure sine wave inverter. When you get an inverter, you want to get a pure sine wave inverter or a sine wave inverter, because if you don't, you're sending a electrical wave that's not nice and smooth, it's choppy. And today's equipment run on electronics, and you're telling things to turn on and off really fast, and it will reduce the life of your equipment. So keep that in mind. One of the things I did do is I have a battery tender, which is 24 volt. And when I set my batteries up, I tied them in the series, and before I connected them to anything, I put the battery tender on that series and equalized all those batteries and got them all tuned up to their 27 volts before I plugged them into anything. This solar controller is both 12 volt and 24 volt, and the way it's pretty much self-programming, there is some fine-tuning you can do in it, but what you do is plug your batteries into it first, and when it senses the 24 volt load, it switches to a 24 volt controller. So you want to make sure you do that first and then plug your solar panels into it. All of this stuff is readily available on Amazon. Good deals on it. Solar panels I've got are the 12 volt Mighty Max. They were $99. Get to you in 2 days. You got to buy the little mounting brackets. That goes pretty well, pretty easy. You can set this up in a day. The batteries are they're on the expensive side. You're looking at with the batteries plus discount, you're probably looking at $100 a piece. Your pure sine inverter, you're looking at, I think, about $150, and then the miscellaneous stuff. Other things you might want to look at is get you a battery filler. You've got to put distilled water in these once a month, only distilled water. Keep these things going, and then get you a battery hydrometer, and it will tell you the condition of your batteries, the true charge of your batteries with a little chemistry. And like I said, you can Google it and you can find out everything you need to know instead of listening to me and then y'all butchering me up with comments. So that's kind of what I've got right now. My plan is to add 2 more solar panels to it and go up to 400 watts. That will extend my time on the refrigerator, because during the day, instead of them sucking my batteries dry and taking some solar, I will be able to just, for the 4 hours of sunlight, throw solar to the refrigerator and maybe some to the batteries, and then when the sun goes down, the batteries take over. So the more solar you can do on that, the less you're going to draw on your batteries. And the basic way I'm looking at it is building up from here. I'm thinking I want to get 600 watts of panels, 24 volts on that, and I think they're about that. So that's 3 sets of 24. They're about 5 amps a piece, so that's about 30 amps. This controller is a 20 amp controller, so I would have to upgrade that. I've got about $30 invested in that. So after that, I would probably go up to an MTTP controller, which is a little bit more advanced, and they have them on there that's Wi-Fi, and you can look at the phone, and you're spending about $150. If I had this to do over again, I would have got that MTTP controller with the Wi-Fi little panel on it. They have it. It's on Amazon. Don't know the name of it. But if I was going to tell anybody a mistake I made, not really a mistake, but what I would have done different was bought that controller instead of this one. This one is a good controller, but I'm going to max it out pretty soon. So that's the only problem with there. The inverter, I went with the 2500 watt. I'm nowhere near that right now, but I think I spent $50 extra to bump up the size, and I looked at it as like, well, I'm going to get big on that. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go 600 watts, and then after that, I'm going to add another bank of batteries. So I'll have another 4 in series, and then I'll put the 2 banks in parallel there. That'll give me 24, and it'll take my 235 up to, 470 amp hours from there. And when I can run those down 25%, I can't do the math real quick in my head, but you get the picture there. And then eventually what I'm wanting is 3 banks of 24 at 235 a piece, and then having about 1.2 kilowatts on the roof. And I'm probably looking at, at that point, I'll probably have about $2,500 invested in this system, and I'll be able to run LED lights in my house and a refrigerator, or moreover the stand-up deep freeze. And at that point, if I've lost power, I can go days. I've got things frozen. Don't care about refrigerator. I can take them out frozen, put them in a cooler, and that can be the refrigerator. And I can run the lights in my house. Don't care about anything else other than that. I got a wood stove I can keep warm with. I live by a lake. I've got water, so I can boil water. I can do whatever, whatever it comes down to. But leave me some comments, and as I improve this, I will post other videos on it. But hey, please subscribe to me. I've got like 28 subscribers when I'm making this, and I would really like to see that grow. My oldest son's pushing me. He's like, Dad, do more reviews. I'm kind of the common man review of little hobbies and stuff I have, and that I like to tinker with things. And if y'all want to see the things I have, I'll put them up. And hey, I'd like to see what y'all do. So get some webpage or YouTube videos started and start posting them. Thanks guys for watching. Subscribe if you get a chance. And again, see y'all later. Good luck and God bless.